I received some injectors today for a 2002 Cummins 5.9. They're actually out of a F750 Ford, but for all intents and purposes they are the same style of injector in a Dodge or in an industrial application as well. These are generally mated to a VP44 injection pump. So we're just going to take a look at these and kind of give you guys an idea of what we look for when we're testing, and kind of the pitfalls of running them too long, as you'll see with these. So we'll go check one we've got on the bench right now. For this demonstration, we've mounted this actually in our common rail test bench. They do fit very similar to a later model Dodge with a common rail injector, or Cummins 5.9. So we're just going to slowly increase the pressure. Right now we are at, well, these injectors are designed to open at 300 bar, which is roughly 4,350 psi. And as we go up here, what you're seeing in the video, I guess, you see the black. This is the end of the nozzle of the injector. That's where the orifices are in the end. So what we want to see is a nice spray pattern and a nice atomization of the fuel. But as you can see, we're at about 240 bar right now. The nozzle's starting to drip quite rapidly now that we've reached, oh, we're just over 250. Now we're starting to get some spray out of the holes, but that is not atomizing at all. And we're still fairly low. As we increase, still not atomizing. So there are two things that can cause the opening pressure of the injector to drop over time. Obviously the internal spring can have reduced tension over time, but also the nozzle itself has a needle inside that has a seat, and it will pound out over time, just like a valve in a head in an engine, and you will that will reduce spring tension as well. So you end up with a lower opening pressure. Now this injector here is obviously seen many miles, many hours in its application. Generally we see this in pickup trucks around 250 to 300,000. They look like this. So running an injector like this in the engine is going to cause a few things. It may not even be that noticeable to the customer, but you're going to have somewhat increased exhaust smoke, whether under load or during cold startups. Your fuel consumption is going to suffer, and it's also going to generate higher temperatures in the cylinder. And this might not be something noticed by a pyro all the time. You're not going to notice it in your coolant temperature, but running injectors longer, well, to this stage, is actually a leading cause of head gasket failure. So, of course, the worst case scenario is if you leave the injector in too long, you'll actually start to melt the piston because it's not atomizing properly, and it's literally causing a cutting torch to eat away at the piston. This is out of an older 5.9 engine that still used a 12 valve head and had the external injectors, but the case was very much the same. The injectors out of this were extremely bad and did not atomize at all. This is usually what happens when they run well over the 300,000 kilometer mark, but every vehicle is different depending on its hours and the cleanliness of the fuel. Okay, for comparison, I just put a brand new Bosch injector in the bench. Same thing, out of a 24 valve Cummins. We'll just slowly bring pressure up again. It's going to be 300 bar. Obviously the nozzle is going to look a bit different. This one's clean. It's not all black like the one I showed you before. But what we're looking for now, I mean, we're going to see a very good atomization come out of this as soon as it starts to open. We're not going to see the dripping that we saw with the other injector. It happens very fast. And it's a complete atomization. Of the fuel. It's very clean. The opening pressure is right up at 300 bar. It has a good shut off. So that well, obviously is a brand new injector, and that's really what you want to see. Going to increase mileage, engine's going to run cooler, more efficiently. The other thing I wanted to touch on today was about cleaning injectors. There's always that option if they have relatively low mileage in the 100,000 range, maybe the vehicle sat for a long period of time, and there's gum and varnish. There are a lot of specialized cleaning machines on the market that people use to flush the system. The only problem with that is you may notice a difference. Your vehicle may run better, but you do not know if you actually if they're actually running properly yet. It may have improved it, but may not be 100%. So just for demonstration, and a common thing with diesels is they do wear the fuel injectors over time. So just simply cleaning a high mileage injector, you may notice a difference, but you're still going to have issues such as low opening pressure, and you could still have very poor atomization. And probably the best example of that is right now I have in the bench an injector out of a 6.5 turbo diesel. They were very common to only last around 180,000 when they stopped atomizing, and they just end up shooting out one stream. It's a bad design, common failure on these trucks, and again they lead to head gasket failures, anything cracked heads, cracked pistons, a lot to do with the injectors. So this is a good example. We got one in. It's quite worn out. New set was supplied, but just for demonstration we pulled this injector apart, totally rebuilt it, resurfaced the inside, set the pressure. The only thing we did is the original nozzle we ultrasonically cleaned, which is going to be a better cleaning procedure than you can flush in the vehicle. So everything's set back to spec. There are no internal leaks, and this is what we still get. Get pressure up here. We still have a very poor spray out of this. It should be a nice cone shaped, and as you can see we have some streams coming off the side. It's not atomizing, it's not chattering at all. Very poor quality. That's just simply a worn nozzle. It has nothing to do with being gummed up or varnished or anything else like that. Even the opening pressure has been boosted back up to where it's supposed to be, but pretty much your only option is to replace the injector or to have it rebuilt with a brand new nozzle, and then you'll be dealing with a new product again.